Have you ever faced the unimaginable pain of losing your spouse, wondering how you'll carry on as a senior in a world that feels so empty? The grief can be overwhelming, and the practical challenges, like managing finances, navigating legal matters, or finding emotional support, can seem insurmountable. In this video, we're diving into the 6 most important things every senior must do to survive when their spouse dies first. These heartfelt, practical steps will guide you through the fog of loss, helping you rebuild with strength and hope. You need to watch until the end because these essential tips could be the lifeline that empowers you to not just survive, but thrive in your next chapter. Before we begin, I would appreciate it if you like this video. You can help me continue to spread the old age lesson. If you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. If you like this video, please comment number 1. If you don't like it, comment number 0 to let me know, so I can make a better video for you. Now let's get started. Number 1. The need to feel before you fix. When your spouse dies, the world doesn't just fall silent. It becomes a void, stripped of the warmth and rhythm that once defined your days. The small, familiar routines you shared, morning coffee brewed just the way they liked it, the sound of their laughter at a familiar joke, the quiet shuffle of their footsteps in the hallway, are gone in an instant. What remains is a hollow stillness that settles not only in your home but deep within your chest, a heavy, aching emptiness that feels like it might never lift. In those raw, early days, the instinct to stay busy can be overwhelming. You might throw yourself into sorting their belongings, handling funeral arrangements, answering condolence calls, or tackling the mountain of paperwork that death demands. Anything to avoid the suffocating weight of grief. But here's the truth. Before you try to fix the chaos around you, you must permit yourself to feel the chaos within you. Grieving is not a task to be checked off a list. It's a deeply personal, unpredictable process that demands space and honesty. This doesn't mean you have to collapse into despair or perform your sorrow for others to witness. It means allowing yourself to sit with the pain, to acknowledge the love you shared and the gaping hole its absence has left behind. There's no right way to grieve, no universal timeline for when the tears will slow or when the sight of their empty chair stops stealing your breath. Society often pushes a narrative of stoicism, especially in the face of loss. You might hear well-meaning voices urging you to stay strong for your children, your family, or even in honor of your spouse's memory. But strength isn't about suppressing your emotions or putting on a brave face to spare others discomfort. True strength lies in vulnerability, in letting yourself cry, scream, or simply sit in silence, admitting that nothing feels okay yet. Consider Evelyn, an 81-year-old widow who lost her husband of 52 years. In the first week after his passing, she filled her days with relentless activity, cleaning out his closet, organizing his desk, responding to every condolence card with a polite note. To the outside world, she seemed fine, even admirable in her resilience. But late at night, when the house was quiet, she would sit in the living room, staring at his empty recliner, pretending she didn't feel the ache of his absence. It wasn't until a friend gently encouraged her to stop running from her grief that Evelyn allowed herself to cry. Deep, wrenching sobs that seemed to come from a place she hadn't dared touch. That moment didn't erase her pain, but it gave it room to breathe, to exist without judgment. It was the beginning of her healing, not because the grief vanished, but because she stopped fighting it. Unaddressed grief doesn't dissolve. It festers. When you push your emotions down, they don't disappear. They morph into something heavier, surfacing later as anger, anxiety, or even physical ailments like chronic fatigue or weakened immunity. Studies show that suppressed grief can increase stress hormones, disrupt sleep, and even elevate the risk of heart issues, particularly in the elderly. For example, a 2018 study in the Journal of Psychosomatic Research found that unresolved grief can lead to prolonged inflammation, which takes a toll on both mental and physical health. By allowing yourself to feel, you're not indulging weakness, you're safeguarding your well-being. This process might look different for everyone. For some, it's crying alone in the quiet of the night. For others, it's talking about your spouse, sharing stories of their quirks, their passions, or even their flaws. It could be writing letters you'll never send, visiting a place that held meaning for you both, or simply holding their favorite sweater and letting the memories flood in. There's no need to rush toward a plan or a solution. Grief isn't a puzzle to solve, it's a weight to carry, and you'll carry it more lightly if you honor it from the start. So pause. Let the tears come. Let the memories hurt. Let yourself admit that the world feels unrecognizable without them. In that raw honesty, you lay the foundation for healing. Not a healing that erases the loss, but one that helps you learn to live alongside it. Number 2. The importance of reaching out right away. The days following your spouse's death can feel like a blur of activity and emotion, but one of the most insidious challenges is the isolation that creeps in when the initial wave of support fades. At first, your home may buzz with visitors, friends bringing casseroles, family members helping with arrangements, neighbors stopping by to offer condolences. The phone rings, the doorbell chimes, and there's a fleeting sense that you're not alone in your loss. But then, as the days turn into weeks, the world moves on. The calls dwindle, the visitors taper off, and the silence of your home becomes a mirror for the loneliness growing inside you. This is why one of the most critical steps you can take early on is to reach out before that isolation takes root. Reaching out doesn't mean you need to bare your soul or host a gathering when you can barely get out of bed. It's about making a small, intentional connection. A text to a friend, a quick call to a family member, or even a simple reply to someone who checks in. The act itself is less about what you say and more about signaling that you're still here, still in need of connection, even if you don't yet know what that connection looks like. Many people hesitate to reach out because they fear being a burden or because they're unsure how to articulate their pain. Others assume that if they wait long enough, others will take the initiative. But the reality is, even those who love you deeply may hold back, not out of indifference, but because they're afraid of saying the wrong thing or intruding on your grief. The consequences of retreating into isolation are profound. Loneliness doesn't just feel bad, it can harm you. Research from the American Psychological Association shows that social isolation in older adults is linked to higher risks of depression, cognitive decline, and even mortality. After losing a spouse, the absence of social connection can exacerbate stress, disrupt sleep, elevate blood pressure, and weaken the immune system. These effects are subtle at first, but they compound over time, turning emotional pain into a physical burden. Take Jim, a 77-year-old widower whose wife passed after a long battle with cancer. In the weeks after her death, Jim's phone rang constantly. Friends, neighbors, and family checking in. But he often let the calls go to voicemail, unable to face the conversations or the inevitable questions about how he was coping. He told himself he'd talk when he felt ready, but as the days passed, the calls slowed, and Jim found himself sinking into a quiet despair he hadn't anticipated. It wasn't until a neighbor, noticing his absence, knocked on his door and sat with him over a cup of coffee that Jim realized how much he'd been isolating himself. That small interaction prompted him to make a promise. One real conversation a day, even if it was just about the weather or a memory of his wife's love for gardening. That commitment became a lifeline, pulling him back from the edge of loneliness. Reaching out doesn't have to be grand or emotional. It can be as simple as inviting a friend to sit with you in silence, asking a family member to help with a small task, or joining a local grief support group where others understand the weight of your loss. If you're worried about burdening loved ones or don't have family nearby, explore community resources. Many towns offer senior centers, bereavement groups, or volunteer programs where compassionate strangers become quiet companions. For example, organizations like the Widow's Hope or local hospices often host support groups tailored to those grieving a spouse. Even online communities, such as forums on Reddit or platforms like GriefShare, can provide a sense of connection when physical presence isn't possible. Grief whispers that you're alone, that no one can understand your pain. Connection counters that lie, reminding you that you're still part of a world that cares. You don't need to talk about your loss if you're not ready. Share a memory, discuss a TV show, or simply sit with someone who makes you feel seen. The act of reaching out is a declaration that you're still here, still fighting to find your way forward. It's not about erasing the pain. It's about ensuring the pain doesn't swallow you whole. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 1 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now, let's move forward. Number 3. The urgency of organizing critical documents. When your spouse dies, the world feels like it should grind to a halt, respecting the enormity of your loss. But the reality is starkly different. Bills keep arriving, bank accounts may freeze, legal notices pile up, and suddenly, you're thrust into a maze of administrative tasks while your heart is still reeling. This is why one of the most practical yet essential steps you must take. gently, deliberately, and as soon as you're able, is to locate and organize the critical documents tied to your spouse's life. This isn't about being cold or detached. It's about protecting yourself and honoring the life you built together by ensuring nothing is lost in the fog of grief. The documents you'll need to gather include the will, life insurance policies, bank and investment account details, marriage and death certificates, property deeds, pension or retirement account information, and any records related to military service or benefits. If your spouse was the primary handler of finances or legal matters, this task can feel like deciphering a foreign language. Even if you shared these responsibilities, the emotional weight of grief can make even simple tasks feel insurmountable. Yet delaying or rushing through this process can lead to costly mistakes. Missed deadlines, overlooked benefits, or financial strain that could have been avoided. For example, life insurance claims often have strict timelines, sometimes as short as 30 days, depending on the policy. Social Security benefits may require prompt notification to adjust payments or claim survivor benefits. Utility accounts, mortgages, or car loans may need to be transferred or renegotiated. Failing to address these promptly can result in penalties, frozen accounts, or missed opportunities for financial support. Consider Harold, a 79-year-old widower whose wife passed unexpectedly. She had always managed their finances, from paying bills to filing taxes. When she died, Harold was overwhelmed, unsure where to begin. He assumed he'd tackle the paperwork when he felt ready, but weeks passed before he discovered her life insurance policy tucked in a drawer with her sewing supplies. By then, he'd already dipped into his savings to cover funeral costs and medical bills, unaware that the policy could have eased the burden. His delay wasn't negligence, it was grief clouding his clarity. To navigate this, start small but start soon. Create a dedicated space, a folder, a box, or a digital file, where you can collect all critical documents. Make a checklist: the will, insurance policies, account numbers, passwords, and contact information for key institutions like banks or employers. If possible, enlist a trusted friend, family member, or professional advisor to help. They don't need to take over. Just having someone to sit with you, read through forms, or make calls can ease the overwhelm. For example, a financial planner or elder law attorney can guide you through probate or benefits claims, while a close friend can help organize papers or track deadlines. Technology can also be an ally. Use a secure digital vault like Everplans or LastPass to store account details and passwords. Make copies of essential documents and keep them accessible. Write down any information someone else might need if you're unable to continue the process yourself. If you're unsure where to start, contact your spouse's bank, employer, or insurance provider. They can often provide a list of required documents or next steps. This task may feel like a betrayal of your grief, as if focusing on paperwork dishonors your spouse's memory. But in truth, it's an act of love. It's ensuring their wishes are honored, their legacy is protected, and you're not left grappling with chaos later. You don't need to complete everything in a day or even a week. Break it into manageable steps. Locate the will today, call the insurance company tomorrow. Each small action restores a bit of order to a world that feels unrecognizable, giving you a foundation to stand on as you navigate the long road ahead. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 2 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now, let's move forward. Number 4. The discipline of protecting your health. The death of a spouse is one of life's most devastating experiences, sending shockwaves through your emotional, mental, and physical well-being. Grief is not a fleeting emotion confined to the heart. It permeates your entire body, manifesting in ways that can be subtle, insidious, or even alarming. In the immediate aftermath of such a loss, the simple act of caring for yourself can feel like an insurmountable task. Appetite often vanishes, leading to skipped meals or reliance on quick, nutrient-poor snacks. Sleep becomes fragmented, interrupted by racing thoughts, vivid memories, or the stark emptiness of a once-shared bed. Basic routines, brushing your teeth, taking a shower, or stepping outside for fresh air, may feel futile, as though the world has lost its color and purpose. Yet, it is precisely during this vulnerable time that prioritizing your physical health becomes a lifeline, a quiet act of defiance against the chaos of grief. The physical toll of grief is not just anecdotal. it's backed by science. The stress of losing a spouse triggers a cascade of physiological responses that can compromise your health in profound ways. Widowed seniors often report sudden weight loss, not from intentional dieting but from a lack of appetite or disrupted eating habits. Fatigue can become overwhelming, stemming not only from sleepless nights but also from the sheer energy required to process such an immense loss. Digestive issues, such as nausea or irregular bowel movements, are common, as are chest tightness, heart palpitations, and even memory lapses or difficulty concentrating. Symptoms often mistaken for illness but rooted in the body's reaction to emotional trauma. Prolonged stress can weaken the immune system, leaving you more susceptible to colds, infections, or flare-ups of chronic conditions. It can elevate blood pressure, disrupt hormone levels like cortisol and adrenaline, and exacerbate pre-existing health issues such as diabetes, arthritis, or heart disease. These effects are not hypothetical. They are measurable and can have serious consequences if left unaddressed. Protecting your health during grief doesn't require a complete lifestyle overhaul. You don't need to train for a marathon, adopt a gourmet diet, or achieve perfect sleep hygiene. Instead, it's about committing to small, manageable acts of self-care that anchor your body amidst the emotional storm. Grief counselors often use the metaphor of caring for the animal in you. Your body is a living organism that needs basic nourishment, hydration, movement, and rest to survive. Start with eating, even if food feels unappealing. A slice of whole grain toast with avocado, a bowl of oatmeal with fruit, or a simple smoothie can provide enough nutrients to stabilize your energy without overwhelming you. If cooking feels daunting, keep easy options on hand. Pre-cut vegetables, yogurt, nuts, or frozen meals designed for seniors with balanced nutrition. Hydration is equally critical. Grief can dehydrate you through tears, stress, or simply forgetting to drink. Place a water bottle by your chair or set a reminder on your phone to sip regularly. Even small sips throughout the day can make a difference. Movement is another cornerstone of physical resilience. You don't need to join a gym or commit to an intense workout. A slow walk around your backyard, a gentle stretch while watching TV, or even standing up to water a plant can help your body release tension and improve circulation. Research shows that even 10 to 15 minutes of light movement daily can reduce stress hormones and boost mood. For sleep, create a calming bedtime routine to signal rest, even if sleep itself feels elusive. Try a warm herbal tea, dim lighting, or soothing music. If you lie awake, don't force sleep. Just resting in a quiet, comfortable space is a step toward healing. These acts may feel hollow at first, but they are not about immediate relief. They are about building a foundation for long-term survival. Consider the story of Margaret, an 84-year-old widow who lost her husband of 60 years. In the fog of her grief, she stopped eating regular meals, often forgetting to take her blood pressure medication or drink water. She didn't realize how frail she was becoming until she fainted in the grocery store aisle, a frightening moment that prompted her daughter to intervene. Together, they created a simple written routine: breakfast at 8 a.m., oatmeal or yogurt; lunch at noon, a sandwich or soup; dinner at 6 p.m., a small portion of protein and vegetables; a glass of water every 2 hours, her pills at 9 a.m., and a daily walk to the mailbox. Margaret also began checking in with her daughter each evening, a small accountability measure that kept her grounded. Over weeks, her energy returned, her dizziness subsided, and she found moments of mental clarity that helped her process her grief. Margaret's experience underscores a critical truth. Caring for your body isn't just about physical health, it's about creating the stability needed to navigate emotional pain. Don't hesitate to involve your doctor during this time. Grief can mimic or mask medical issues, and a professional can help you differentiate between the two. A routine checkup to monitor your vitals, blood pressure, heart rate, weight, or blood sugar, can catch potential problems early. Sharing your emotional state with your doctor may also lead to referrals for counseling, support groups, or even medication if anxiety or depression becomes overwhelming. These steps aren't about fixing your grief or pretending you're fine. They're about affirming that you're still here, still worthy of care, and still capable of rebuilding your strength. Each small act, eating a meal, taking a walk, resting, is a quiet declaration that you are choosing to endure, one day at a time. Number 5. The danger of rushed decisions. The loss of a spouse upends your world, leaving you in a state of disorientation where the familiar feels foreign and the future feels uncertain. In this raw, vulnerable state, it's natural to seek control, to grasp for anything that might restore a sense of agency. For many, this manifests as an urge to make sweeping changes. Selling the family home, relocating to be near children or grandchildren, donating or discarding your spouse's belongings, or making major financial moves like selling assets, closing accounts, or altering investments. These decisions can feel like a way to escape the constant reminders of loss or to create a fresh start. But here's a hard-earned truth. Decisions made in the early stages of grief, typically within the first 6 to 12 months, are often ones you'll later regret. The fog of sorrow, exhaustion, and desperation for stability clouds your judgment, making it difficult to see the long-term consequences of your actions. Grief distorts your perspective in profound ways. The home you shared with your spouse may feel unbearable now, filled with memories that sting, but selling it hastily could mean losing a space that later brings comfort. Clearing out your spouse's belongings might feel like a way to move forward, but it could leave you grieving the loss of those tangible connections. Financial decisions, too, are fraught with risk. Grief can impair your ability to assess complex choices like selling property, reallocating investments, or signing legal documents. Studies show that major life changes made during acute grief often lead to regret, as they're driven by a temporary need to escape pain rather than a clear-eyed vision of the future. Take the example of George, a 76-year-old widower whose wife died unexpectedly from a stroke. Overwhelmed by loneliness in their shared home, he sold it within 2 weeks and moved into a small apartment near his son, hoping proximity to family would ease his pain. But once the initial relief faded, George was struck by profound regret. He missed his neighbors, who had been a source of community for decades. He longed for the garden he and his wife had nurtured, where they'd spent countless evenings planning their future. The apartment, though practical, felt like a stranger's space, devoid of the warmth and history of their home. George's story is a poignant reminder that grief needs space to breathe, to process, and to settle before making irreversible choices. This doesn't mean you should never make changes. Downsizing, relocating, or letting go of certain belongings may eventually align with your needs or desires. But in the early stages of grief, your emotional and mental state isn't equipped for decisions with lasting consequences. A practical guideline is to wait at least 6 months to a year before acting on major changes, unless they're unavoidable, such as urgent financial obligations. This pause isn't about clinging to the past. It's about giving your emotions time to catch up with reality. If family or friends pressure you to move on or clear things out, it's okay to set boundaries. A gentle response like, "I need more time to think this through," can protect your space to grieve at your own pace. For significant decisions, especially financial ones, seek input from trusted, objective advisors. A financial planner can review investment or property decisions, ensuring you're not acting out of desperation. A close friend or family member who respects your timeline can offer perspective on personal choices, like whether to keep your spouse's clothes or redecorate a room. For example, if you're considering selling your home, ask yourself, am I running from pain, or is this a choice that aligns with my long-term well-being? Writing down your reasons and revisiting them after a few weeks can help clarify your intentions. The goal is to act from a place of clarity, not reaction. Clarity comes with time, rest, and support. By slowing down, you protect yourself from compounding your grief with regret. You've already endured one life-altering loss. Don't multiply the pain by rushing into others. When the time is right, you'll feel a shift, a sense of groundedness, a flicker of certainty that guides you toward decisions that honor both your past and your future. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 3 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now, let's move forward. Number 6. The quiet work of rebuilding your identity. The death of a spouse is not just the loss of a partner. It's the loss of a shared identity, a way of being in the world that was defined by we. For decades, your life may have revolved around a partnership, a rhythm of shared routines, roles, and rituals. You were the couple who hosted holiday gatherings, the duo who laughed at inside jokes, the team who navigated life's triumphs and challenges together. Your spouse was not just a person but a mirror, reflecting and shaping who you were. When they're gone, the we dissolves, leaving you to confront a profound and often disorienting question. Who am I now? This aspect of grief, though less discussed, is one of the most transformative. Rebuilding your identity after such a loss is a slow, quiet, and deeply personal journey. Not about replacing what was, but about evolving into the person you are becoming. In the immediate aftermath of loss, your focus may be consumed by practicalities. Funeral arrangements, paperwork, condolence visits, or simply getting through the day. But as the initial chaos subsides, the absence of your spouse reveals how deeply your identity was intertwined with theirs. You were the caretaker, the confidant, the planner, the partner in countless small moments. Without them, those roles shift or vanish, leaving a void where your sense of self once stood. This can feel like losing not just your spouse but a part of yourself, as though the foundation of your identity has cracked. The question of who you are now, without the we, can echo in the silence, demanding an answer you may not be ready to give. This process of rebuilding your identity is not about erasing the past or diminishing your love for your spouse. It's about rediscovering who you are as an individual while carrying their memory forward. It's an evolution, not a replacement. Start by asking gentle, open-ended questions. What brings me comfort or joy now? What did I love doing before my marriage, or what have I always wanted to explore? What does peace look like for me in this new chapter? These questions don't need immediate answers. They're invitations to curiosity, to small steps toward reconnection with yourself. Consider Irene, an 82-year-old widow who lost her husband after 55 years of marriage. In the early months, she clung to their shared life, keeping his slippers by the door, his coffee mug on the counter, and their daily routines intact, as though preserving them could keep him close. But the weight of that sameness became stifling. One day, on a whim, she picked up a paintbrush, something she hadn't done since her 20s, before marriage and children consumed her time. At first, painting was a distraction, a way to fill the long hours. But over time, it became a bridge to a forgotten part of herself, a creative, independent Irene who had dreams and passions of her own. Painting didn't erase her grief or her love for her husband. It gave her a way to live alongside it, to honor her own existence while carrying his memory. Irene's story illustrates a key truth. Rebuilding your identity is not about letting go, it's about making space for growth within the grief. This journey unfolds through small, intentional acts. Try something new, even if it feels awkward. Join a book club, take a pottery class, or volunteer at a local animal shelter. Revisit old passions, maybe gardening, writing, or playing an instrument, that got sidelined during your marriage. Or simply practice being in your own company. Sit with a cup of tea, listen to music you love, or write down your thoughts in a journal. These acts aren't about filling the void left by your spouse. They're about rediscovering what makes you feel alive. Surround yourself with supportive people. Friends who listen without judgment, a grief support group where you can share your story, or a therapist who can guide you through this transition. If faith is part of your life, connecting with a spiritual community can offer solace and a sense of purpose. It's also crucial to permit yourself to change. Grief can make any step forward feel like a betrayal, as though enjoying a new hobby or making a new friend diminishes your love for your spouse. But growth doesn't negate love. It honors it by affirming that you're still here, still capable of joy, still worthy of a meaningful life. This process is not linear or quick. You won't wake up one day with a fully formed sense of self. Instead, your identity will emerge inch by inch, through each new habit, each moment of curiosity, each small act of courage. You are not just the person you were with your spouse. You are also the person you are becoming without them. Both versions of you deserve care, attention, and love. The quiet work of rebuilding your identity is a testament to your resilience, a way of weaving your past, present, and future into a story that is uniquely yours. That's a wrap on the 6 most important things every senior must do to survive when their spouse dies first. We've shared heartfelt and practical steps to help you navigate this challenging chapter with strength and hope. Now, we'd love to hear from you. What's one thing you've learned from this video that you'll put into practice in your life? Drop it in the comments below, and let's start a conversation to support each other. If you found this video helpful, please leave your comment below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more advice on thriving through life's toughest moments.